Hello everybody, myself Dr. Sumit Sharma. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and a yoga therapist, and we are working together as a team in East-West Ayurveda and Yoga, where we provide every sort of health services. Thank you for having us here today. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Lee Zavanovic and I'm also an Ayurvedic practitioner with Dr. Sharma and Beatrice Lem and Dr. Jaspreet Brar, and together we are East-West Ayurveda and Yoga, and I've studied here in Adelaide, in India and also in Melbourne, and so yes, the knowledge of Ayurveda is something that comes to you. You don't go to it, and it's been an absolute delight and a life-changing experience for me, and we're here tonight to just tell you a bit more about what Ayurveda is about, and particularly about the 6 tastes and lifestyle. So let's join in and let's get started, hey?
Perfect.
Thank
Sounds
you.
Great. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We've got Lee joining us with Dr. Sharma. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much for having us as well.
You're welcome. So you're from East-West Ayurveda and Yoga. So if you can just tell us a bit about yourselves.
Certainly. I'm an Ayurveda lifestyle consultant and practitioner, and I've been doing this for about 8 or 9 years now, and I was really very fortunate to have an aha moment where I decided that I needed to have a massive change of lifestyle, and fortunately there was an opportunity to study here in Adelaide, and during the journey I've also been able to travel to Melbourne to study some more about the treatment side of Ayurveda, and also over to India, where I really sort of had many opportunities to learn the skills, the ancient knowledge, and to be very blessed to have that. It was amazing. It made it very real for me. So wonderful experience.
What was the turning point or the aha moment?
Well, I was sitting on the floor in a yoga retreat one weekend, and the yoga teacher was talking about Ayurveda, and I'm thinking, okay, what is this thing Ayurveda? I need to know more about it. And you know, you just have one of those intuition moments where you think, I think there's something in this for me, and it certainly was. Never look back. And everything just unfolded from there. It was like the universe just provided, you know, here's the study, here's the contacts, here's the business, here's the opportunity, and here we are again with East-West Ayurveda. So now, you know, we've expanded out to having 2 amazing doctors who have such a broad range of skills, and Beatrice and myself, we're just like, we sort of look at each other and we pinch each other and think, how did we get here? But here we are. So let's go.
Fantastic.
Let's do it.
And we can learn from you and explore this interesting area. And yourself, Dr. Sharma?
Yeah, like my journey started from home. My father is also an Ayurveda doctor back in India. So my childhood, I spent most of my childhood in Ayurveda, and I studied Ayurveda in India, and then I served for government of Punjab back in India for 10 years before I decided to come here in Adelaide. And yes, I was very fortunate that I found Lee and Beatrice to start my Ayurvedic journey here. And yes, we are growing good, we are going good, we are growing good, and people are happy, and so are we. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. So let's start off. Well, this evening we want to talk about sort of Ayurvedic lifestyle, how to eat, a couple of recipes for listeners with all 6 tastes, so that we don't have cravings and that sort of thing. So if you can, is any way you want to start?
Sure. Maybe we should just talk a little bit about what Ayurveda is. It simply means the science of life or longevity. Ayur means life or longevity, and Veda simply means the science or the knowledge. And it really is about keeping the health of people so that they are healthy. And if you're not healthy, it's bringing you back to that place of where your health is. And we do that through lifestyle, through hygiene, through exercise, through sleep, through food, and just that whole connection to self, and realizing that your inner healer is within you. And once you tap into that, then really all those things just become very easy to manage. And it might sound like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all of this? But actually, once you get into that intuitive stage where you know what your body is requiring, then you'll find that your health and your well-being is just what you do. You don't even think about it. It just becomes you, which is the most amazing thing. And it is really, Ayurveda has been described as being tranquil, joyous, fulfilling, all those beautiful things, and it makes you feel grounded. Like especially with what's been going on in the world, it's important to have that opportunity to know that what you're putting into yourself is going to give you that whole well-being of connecting mind and body together. That's it's really essential. Dr. Sharma, can you?
Yeah, absolutely right. I totally agree with that. And the basic thing that I would always focus on is the food, as we were going to discuss. And food, it's called as ahara in Sanskrit or in the Ayurvedic terminology, and it is considered as the mega medicine. So I would always consider food as medicine. So we talk about it a lot, that food is medicine, but in which way, in what way, for who and how. So there are plenty things to discuss, that what one should eat, how one should eat, when one should eat, and how much one should eat.
It's so important.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's something we're not really taught.
Yeah.
Growing up, we just think, eat your dinner, and we're even told, you hear people saying, oh, they couldn't leave the table until they finished everything, but maybe their body had enough. But that was keep eating. There's people in the world that don't have food, and you just eat for the sake of eating. We just sort of taught things a bit differently.
Yeah. If I want to add on something to that, is that mostly we consider food as something physical that give us some physical power. Right?
That's right.
But food not only has the physical component, it has the mental component as well. Because when you eat your favorite food, you feel happy.
True.
All right?
Exactly.
And you feel satisfied. And I have seen in clients and many of the people that this sense of gratification and sense of satisfaction and sense of mental happiness is missing nowadays with food. We are just eating to fill our tummy. We are not eating to actually nourish us, not only physically but mentally as well. So this is where Ayurveda jumps in, and it tells us about how to nourish your body and your mind with food and with other certain things.
And that makes sense, because the food would assimilate in our cells at a cellular level better when we feel good. When our mood feels good, we vibrate on a level that wouldn't even know how to explain it medically. But, it's all of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. See, few things are good to explain in medical terms or the professional terminology, but mostly for general public, they will find hard to relate, but I will say it in a bit different way. See, we were almost 3.5 kilos when we were born. And now we are, 6 feet tall, 70 kilos. Why? All because of food. All right? So this is the importance of food. Whatever you are eating, your health cells have so much intelligence in that they will convert into whatever food you eat. They will convert it into a human being. And this will certainly impact your mental health as well, that what you are eating, how you are eating, at what time you are eating what thing. And there are a lot of researches nowadays of top level researches that shows that the mindset is one of the basic thing that will help you to get the proper nourishment from food, whatever you are eating. You might be eating a very good food, but it might not be getting absorbed or assimilated properly in your body, so no fun of having that food.
That's right. So we have to be in the right emotional state when we eat.
Absolutely. And Lee will put some more light on those topics in detail, and we'll keep on adding those things, Lee.
Okay, sure. The best way to sort of look at food is in Ayurveda we break it down into 6 tastes, and taste in Ayurveda is really rasa, and it's about the taste of the food, and it's about the emotions that will activate within you, and so it's important to look at how you make your food and how you combine the qualities of these 6 tastes on your plate. Nearly, not so much every time you eat, but you're sort of wanting to be aiming to have a balance of these tastes on your plate. And these tastes are sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent and astringent. And we'll just break it down a little bit more about what each of these tastes actually mean. Sweet, its primary actions are it builds tissues and it calms nerves. And the common kind of sources of sweet are fruit, grains, natural sugars, milk, butter, ghee, pasta and bread. And so when you sort of think about them, you know, some of those things you're not going to actually think, well, how does sweet come out of that? But it's just the ancient knowledge, and that's what we're sort of going with. And sweet is a really important taste, and that's the one that is grounding, and that's the one that helps to keep your emotions intact, and that's the one that helps to keep your body and mind together. So having a majority of sweet tasting food on your plate is probably the best place to start, and we'll sort of talk a little bit more about that later on. Sour is obvious, you know, sour is things like sour fruits, yogurt, fermented foods, lemon, vinegar, wine, soya sauce, grapefruit, aged cheese, all those kinds of things give you that sour taste. And what that does, it cleanses your tissues and it helps with absorption of minerals. And that's something that it doesn't have to be, oh my God, I've got to eat a lemon every day. No, it can just be like a squeeze of lemon on your veggies or something like that. It doesn't have to be in, you know, huge quantities. It can just be what your sort of body, you're listening to your body and think, oh yeah, I could just put a little squeeze of lemon on that. That will just enhance the flavour. Salty speaks for itself, and that comes from natural salt, sea vegetables, things like celery, that kind of thing. And what that does, it helps to it brings out the taste in food, and you would know that when you sort of have vegetables that don't have any salt on it, they taste a bit bland and a bit similar, whereas you put some salt on it, all of a sudden your taste buds are really enhanced. So it also lubricates tissues, and it also stimulates digestion for us as well. And those 3, sweet, sour and salty, they're just really significant tastes that we just need to sort of be thinking about having them on your plate. We've also got the next one is bitter, and that absolutely just detoxifies and lightens the tissues for us. And we can find bitter in dark leafy greens, herbs and spices, things like turmeric, fenugreek, nettle, lettuce, olives. So if you think about lettuce having a bitter taste, it can do, you know, if you sort of think of the range of lettuces that are available here in Australia, you can definitely get that sort of bitter taste through it. And the thing with dark leafy greens, which we'll talk a little bit more about later too, is that we do have to be mindful of those, because they the green colour actually comes from the sunlight, right, and it ripens it, and it puts a lot of heat into those vegetables as well. So it's important to not always have them raw, because they then become quite heating. So what we would do is suggest that you steam them, especially now that we're going into autumn, because having a lot of raw food and that kind of thing, not that there's anything wrong with it, but at the moment we just really want to be having nourishing food and cooked food, and so that you are able to absorb that pretty quickly and healthily as well. Pungent is things like chilies and garlic and herbs and spices, and you can imagine, you know, when you put too much chili into something or too much garlic, it just overwhelms the dish. And so that pungent flavour has to be really guided. You know, you have to think about what you're doing with pungent.
But that also bad? Sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Is that also does something to the body if we have too many spices and gingers? Does it affect us?
Too much? It can do, absolutely. And that is what we have to once again get back down to. Everything in moderation, you know, just a pinch of this, you can always add more, you know, whereas if you go too far with pungent, then you can just ruin a dish. And so it's important just to add to what your taste buds are requiring. And the last one is astringent, and what that does, that helps to absorb water It tightens the tissues and it dries fats out, and it's a really important one to have. Yeah, because astringent is essentially drying, and so we really want that in things like legumes, raw fruits and vegetables, and also the big one that people don't realise is that honey is actually astringent in tasting, and so for things like people that are carrying a little bit of extra weight, then honey is actually a go-to food.
So does it come under sweet?
No,
we think.
no, and people think that because it tastes sweet,
That's right.
that it's your go-to food to, satisfy sweet. It will do, but it's also going to help dry out, the excess fluid in the body, which is important. And sometimes people are thinking I'm gaining so much weight, but really what it is, it can just be excess fluid in the body, and it's not fat weight; it's actually fluid weight, and we call that edema. And you can tell that by just pressing onto your skin, and if your thumbprint stays in your skin, then you know that you're carrying excess water. So that's, so also pomegranate and sprouts, they're also astringent as well. So that's a very quick overview of why we have those 6 essential tastes, and what we're trying to do is to get them onto our plate. We're sort of, and you think, how am I going to do that? What meal do I prepare for myself to have all of those? Though that's the next question. You say, okay, how do I do this now? So the thing is that you experiment. You try different things, and you think about, well, a squeeze of lemon, a pinch of salt. Do I add some more chilies? Do I do this? Do I do that? And
That's
we've got a
very good list you've given. Sorry.
That's all right. And we're going to just go over a recipe a little bit later on as well called khichdi, and that's our go-to meal that we consider to be, what we call it is a Tridoshi meal. And what we mean by that, it balances everybody. And so
that's what we want.
Yeah, that's what we want for now, for autumn,
right.
and all that kind of thing. So we'll go into a little bit more detail about that one. So that very quickly just gives us a bit of a brief outline about how we consider to have 6 tastes on a plate and why they're so essential. And really, the everything about Ayurveda rests on the tip of your tongue, pretty much. Yeah.
Talking about the tip of the tongue, I will start from the start again, that rasa, as Lee said, we have 6 tastes, or we call rasa. Rasa is the first thing that you feel when you put something in your mouth, right? So that means whatever you put in your mouth, if it tastes sweet, that means its taste or the rasa is sweet. If you put lemon, you know it's sour, right? Yes, so that's how you can identify a rasa. Okay, our taste buds will tell us. And as we always say in Ayurveda, that your tongue is the reflection of your digestion, right? So talking about that, like you were saying, how much to have something, like if you put too much garlic or too much of this and too much of that. See, all the spices is, I never consider spices as a very right term for those things. They are actually medications that has been incorporated into our cooking system so that you can have daily dose of some medications according to what you are cooking and what season you are in, so that you can keep your systems healthy and you can avoid the seasonal problems.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, right. I suppose we can't go into it now, but maybe that can be another session. But the spices for winter and summer, that's interesting.
Yeah, and in the same way, the veggies are also winter and summer. But nowadays, we can have any veggie 24/7, 12 months of the year. But we need to understand that they have certain qualities, they have certain properties. That's where Ayurveda differs from other pathies. That like Lee was saying, that some things are cooling in nature, some things are heating in nature. But mostly we are stuck in, whenever we eat something, we got stuck in carbs, proteins, fats, But the point is, yes, you can get protein from pork, you can get protein from chicken, you can get protein from beef, you can get protein from, seafood, fish, many other things. But you need to understand that, are all those sources of protein are the same? No. So that means they carry protein, but their protein carry different qualities, different properties as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's a whole area in itself, which I've been delving into, which is, I mean, I haven't eaten meat for about 8 weeks because of it. Because I've been sort of hearing so many things that you know, the animals in the slaughterhouse, you know, for 2 months, their emotions are anger, fear, you know, there's a lot of violence, and then we are going to eat that red meat, and yes, we're getting the protein, okay, our body takes it up, but what's it doing to our mind?
Yes.
Exactly.
And I just can't touch the stuff anymore. I really can't. I've been having legumes and I feel more energized. I can think clearer. I mean, I've noticed myself. That's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
As you just said this thing, it's all about getting into the right mindset, and then you will automatically choose the right thing.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
With fad diets, it's an effort. So I shouldn't have that tomorrow. I shouldn't have that Mars bar. I shouldn't have this. But that's right. Like when you understand things, you don't have to try.
Yeah.
That's right. It should be just a natural progression, and allowing just that intuitiveness. Like you know, what made you decide not to have meat anymore? You know, like you sort of think, well, why did that happen? And it's a good thing, you know, because you trusted it. And have you missed it?
Well, I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And when it's been in front of me, when I've gone to people's homes, or you know, like my mum, so she wasn't offended.
No.
But I said, I can't eat that chicken. But I love chicken. 3 months ago, so I can't eat that chicken. I'm just seeing a bird there dead. That's all I'm seeing, and I'm thinking, how did it feel before it went, and things like that. And it's not woo woo and you know all sort of you know airy fairy things. There's I've done a lot of research on it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's as human beings, we actually don't have the teeth to eat meat. And you know, if you sort of think about all of the large mammals on the planet, majority of them are vegetarian, and they're doing just fine. You know, so there's a lot of ethical reasons as to why not to eat meat. But Ayurveda doesn't say that you have to be vegetarian.
That's right.
It's purely personal choice, and that's fine.
But isn't it something to do with the human intestines that they're so long? See, animals that eat animals, you know, like our dog eats meat, right? So they've got very short intestines, so they can digest that meat. But we eat meat, and we've got the longer intestines, so the meat sort of will rot. It doesn't come out as quick.
Yeah,
that's where disease comes from.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there is another thing associated with, which is that people who are hard meat eaters, they tend to have more inflammatory changes in their body. So in a sense, their body is most of the times inflamed. So that makes your body more prone to certain infections as well. Like people nowadays are quite very much aware about, you know, that your blood should have the basic pH, your blood should not have the acidic pH, these sort of things, you know. Things comes into they take a commercial turn, then they come into the public, people learn about them, people read those researches, and they try to follow. You know? So in that sense, if you are only having protein, and that's especially animal protein, then your body will always be inflamed. Not only your gut, which is the first thing that will go inflamed, you know, if you are a hard meat eater, but your thoughts also. You know, the anger, the sorrow, all those sort of things, you'll stuck in the loop slowly, and that's what we are seeing, that many of the, you know, mental problems, they are more prone, the people who are more, you know, hard meat eaters, they are more prone to such problems. And yes, when we talk about Ayurveda, we talk about the mental attributes as well. So we talk about the sattva, the rajas, the tamas. We call that three qualities of mind. So sattva means clarity, raja means the movement, and tama means the darkness. So these things will activate your rajas and tamas more, and they will, you know, bring you into darkness slowly. And yes, you can see it around you, you know, and I'll request this to our listeners as well. You can observe people around you, you know, people who are happy, people who are always struggling with their emotions, you know, look at their diets, and you will see a big reason sitting in their plates. The way they eat, how they eat, how much they eat, with what respect they eat. That's why Ayurveda always say that there are some rules when you are going to eat, you should follow. And Lee will put some more light on those rules of eating as well.
That's right. When you're about to start eating food, you need to think about where the food has come from and how it got to your plate. And you need to make a space in your heart and just think about, well, I have much gratitude for this food that I'm about to absorb, because it's going to become you. Just think, the last thing you eat today in 35 to 40 days time is going to become you. It's going to become human. So you are what you eat, or you are what you can't absorb. So, thinking about the qualities of food, sitting in a nice, quiet environment, in a loving environment, where there's no extra stimulation of, mobile phones and televisions and radios and,
Hard to do these days. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, that sort of thing about where you just need to be in a peaceful environment and just sort of taking on board just the gratitude of what Mother Nature has so beautifully provided for us. I mean, she's colour-coded all of the food. She's wrapped them up in beautiful skins and all sorts of things, and there's everything that there is a use for everything.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, and she puts them to bed when it's time to have a rest, and she makes them blossom and she makes them come alive again, and there we have another crop, and so here we have cycles. And if you think about everything we do, it's a cycle. So is our food, and particularly here in South Australia, the seasons are very evident. So it's and especially now, that's why we're sort of thinking that it's very timely to be talking about food, because as we go into autumn, your food tastes and needs and requirements are going to change, like Dr. Sharma said.
Yeah.
And that's important to observe that. So we were going to be looking for the soups and the dals and the khichuris and the roast veggies and pancakes for breakfast and that kind of
really
thing.
Comfort food. So that's not just winter, it's autumn too.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to have, your food needs to taste good, because, we've got everything here to make it taste nice, and you want that food to go into your body and do the work that it needs to do. Your food, like Dr. Sharma said, is your inner pharmacy, and particularly kitchen herbs are. They are fundamental, and they're not expensive, and they are accessible, and they can just be a condiment. They can be in the food, on the food, that sort of thing. So it's just being a little bit more creative about the kinds of foods. Break out of the habit of just having the same things all the time. Go and explore what recipes are available. Give it a go. Go and do a workshop of something that you've never done before, just so that you get some creativity around the food that goes into your body, because that essentially becomes how you absorb food as well. So there's lots of things to do.
Yeah, and Ayurveda always give you the liberty and the freedom to go and create your own dish according to your own body needs.
Right.
That's it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I just want to make a quick point about the herbs and spices before we move on. I suppose because when you said it's like medicine, that's probably why we don't need too much. We can't overdo it. You can't put too much clove. You can't put too much garlic. Then we feel sick. We feel the acids coming into our tummy.
Yes. Absolutely.
Little bit.
Yeah. So, actually, see, everything has a right dosage to it. If everything is done in dosage, it will be medicine.
Yeah.
So the only difference between medicine and a poison is of dosage.
Exactly.
All right. So similarly with the food. Food is also medicine. So if you do it wrongly, in a wrong manner, in a wrong combination, which is a very big aspect of Ayurveda, the food combinations. There is a concept called Viruddha Ahara. Viruddha means opposing.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
What we should combine and what we should not combine with. That's a big topic, and we always discuss this, and we always tell this our clients, and we are happy to share with our listeners today as well few of the things if you think is the right time that Lee will put some light on that, and I'll elaborate few other aspects also.
I just also wanted to just, with the way we sort of take food, also I just wanted to say that, you know, eating quietly as well and not getting into rigorous, you know, conversations is probably a good idea too, if it can be, because it's just really distracting. And chewing your food well, not sort of taking it too quickly, you know, sort of taking it at warm or room temperature is another really important thing to do. It should always have a little bit of moisture or have like an oily quality as well, so that it's easy for us to digest. And when it's dry food, and it's always dry food, then you're going to have all sorts of like issues with constipation, mental sort of instabilities as well, those sorts of things. So having that moisture in your food, because remember, as a human body, we're mostly moisture anyway, or water, so we just need to have it. And it's not always drinking a glass of water that we get our fluid intake from, it's from our vegetables as well and our fruits. So we need to be more mindful of that. Just only drink a little bit of water when you're taking food, and that once again should be at room temperature. And never sort of overeat if you possibly can, you know, sort of have that little tiny little sort of section left where that you know you're not completely full up and bursting. That's a good thing. And take some time to rest after food, and also to take a break between meals. And the best way to know if you're still digesting is take some more water. In about 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you'll burp. And if it still tastes like the food that you were just eating, then you're still digesting. So take a bit more of a break.
So don't eat for a while.
If you can help it, yeah. It's just these sort of things might sound like rules, regs, but they just help with the overall digestion, because you think of your digestive system, it works 24/7. And having a break is a good thing for it. It really is.
The point here that we're trying to put forward for our listeners is that there is a difference between empty stomach and a hungry stomach. Mostly we don't consider it, or mostly we don't relate to it, but it is. Empty stomach every time doesn't mean you have to put something in. You need to feel hungry to eat something.
Excellent point.
Right? And the little trick that Lee was talking about, that having a glass of warm water around the meal time, suppose you're supposed to have your lunch around 12, you know, because we are the clock watchers. Oh, it's 12, let's have some lunch. Oh, it's 6, let's have dinner. You don't ask yourself that, do you really need to eat now? Or you can have it half an hour later, that's okay. Or half an hour earlier also.
That's right, because we've got different emotions, and maybe it's affected by the moon and the tides.
Obviously.
Some days we might want to eat more than other days.
That's absolutely right. That's what we're talking about, you know. And by having a glass of warm water, or not even a glass, half a glass, whatever you feel like. It's not an essential thing to have a big glass of warm water. No, not like that. Whatever you feel, have a bit of warm water. Wait and let it do its job. Let it do its magic. And you will get a burp. You know, the first possibility, you will get a burp of previously eaten food. If it is the case, that means your digestion is still going on, and you should not put something else into your system. Because digestion is still going on.
Yeah. So what will happen if we do keep loading up?
Yeah. I'm coming to that as well. No problems. And second possibility is that you will not get a burp. That also means that plenty of digestion is there to finish, and we should not eat at that time. Third possibility, which is the right one to eat, is that you will get a burp which one is empty, with no taste in it. You know, that means your stomach is clear, your digestive system is clear, then you can put something in. All right? Yeah. So these are the three possibilities that our listeners and we all can follow and give it a go. It might take few days for your body to start responding to that. And like you were asking, that what if somebody still put something in, that is where things start turning bad. If something is still getting digested and you put something more in it, the process of digestion will not be completed for both the items. One is about to finish, one is, very fresh, food going into your system. So both should have undergone different sort of process, different timings, but now you have mixed them, and then they will ferment, they will start getting putrefied. That's where people start getting more belching, acid reflux, and bloating, more of distended tummy. These sort of problems, we all face such sort of problems every now and then. But if you want to avoid that, just have a glass of warm water. That's it. And even if you have to avoid or skip your meal, that's okay. Your body has so much storage; it will use it. Don't worry.
Now, what comes to mind when you're saying all this is emotions and emotional eating, because we all know, I'm sure we've all experienced it, most of us. I mean, I even experienced it the other day, and I don't think I emotionally eat generally, but something was going on and I felt a bit sort of anxious over a situation. I wasn't hungry, but first thing I did was look to eat something, and then I just stopped because I realised what I was doing. I said, "Are you hungry?" "No, I'm not." "So why are you going for the food?" I didn't eat the food. I was aware of it.
Beautiful way.
So,
beautiful way.
This is a problem.
It's just
Emotional eating.
Yeah, it is, and it's like a comfort thing, isn't it? It's like having a hug almost, but there's a lot of guilt around that as well.
But
so
also we might not want it. The bodies might not need
the body,
it.
It's
the last
actually-
thing is not actually hungry.
Yeah.
It's that's an emotional trauma going on, and the best way to know whether you are hungry is if you eat some chocolate, say, and you're able to just stop at 1 or 2 pieces, then you're just needing to fix a little crave up. But if you eat the whole block and are looking for something else to eat as well, some more chocolate, then there's obviously an emotional disconnect somewhere happening
Because
there.
it's never satisfying.
Because it's not satisfying anything. is it?
I will say that we usually, take our systems for granted, that it will work,
And we shouldn't.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And
We should work with it.
one will get to know the importance when one gets sick. Then you don't like anything in the world. If I put the most delicious dish in front of you, if somebody is sick, you don't want to eat because you are sick.
Exactly.
Even if you want to, you can't. So rather than to get into such a situation, just be aware a little bit. Be more practical. Listen to your body. This is we always say that God resides in your body, isn't it? So make it a place of prayer, not a dustbin, not a rubbish bin.
Yeah.
So whatever you put in, it's gonna become you eventually. So choice is yours. You wanna put something good at a right time, in a right amount, choose wisely.
Yeah, when you say that, what comes to mind is that thing we all know, the body is our temple.
Yeah.
Let's respect our body
Yeah.
and respect what God's given us.
Yes.
A machine that we could never create.
No. And it's an amazing thing, isn't it?
It is the most sophisticated gadget on earth, our body, isn't it?
Yes.
Without
But
doubt.
like in your last talk also, you mentioned Sadhguru. So Sadhguru always say that it is the most sophisticated gadget. Whatever you buy nowadays, it comes with a manual. But have you read the manual for this body? Ayurveda Yoga is the manual. And once you follow this, then your body will be happy with you, your mind will be happy with you, and you will be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Because your body is a tool to help you to do daily activities, and raise and rise and achieve success,
That's right.
If it should be helping you in what you want to do. But at a point of time, it becomes an obstacle because you can't do, because people say, my body don't allow this. Because you made your body this way. It's all your choice. You are doing whatever you are doing to your body, isn't it? It's not doing anything by itself. Or is it? We are doing it. We are putting food in. We are sleeping the way we are sleeping. We are eating the way we are eating. We are living in stress by our choice, You can learn some techniques, some yoga techniques, some techniques of eating the right way. So to reduce the stress, like Lee was pointing out that one should eat slowly in a calm environment and without any disturbances of TV and mobile. So why that? Let's explore a little bit. If you are watching your favorite serial on your TV, very emotional drama, and you are having your food, you got disconnected with your food, but you got connected with the emotions of the characters in the serial.
Makes
All right?
sense.
And you are feeling the pain they are feeling in the TV. You are feeling the anger if they are feeling that in the series, and you are eating your food with the same emotions, where you have to be very calm and serene while eating your food. It's a tradition to say a prayer or a grace before you have your food, isn't it? So why those things were incorporated in our life? Because so that you respect the food, you should have food with your family members together, and you at least thank God that, oh, I'm eating today and I'm eating well. In that way, you are connecting to the food, isn't it?
Of course.
So that's why the wise people have incorporated few things in our daily life which we don't have to think why we are doing it. We just do it. It will do good to you at one point. That's the message.
Perfect.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And
it's just,
because everyone's entitled to, we're all here to experience life, the ups, the downs, the challenges, the good times, but ultimately we're all entitled to feel good. And like you said, when we eat well, we can think well, we can operate. It's like a machine, like a car. You put the right petrol in, it works. It's the same with us. And we're entitled to run smooth and feel good
By saying
the majority of our lives.
By saying
Let's hope.
that you put the right petrol in, would you like a car to where you have to put petrol every 20 kilometers?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we are
That's a
doing,
good point.
eating every 2 hours.
That's right.
yeah.
Good point.
No need. You need to increase your mileage,
Quality, that's it.
That's
yes.
it,
Yeah, please.
Yeah, better fuel consumption.
That's it, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what about some recipes? Are we at that point yet?
Well, we'd probably just like to finish off with doing some food combinations.
Yes, sure.
Some good ones and some ones to avoid, especially the difficult one for our body to absorb is taking some beef, dairy and salt in one meal. And
Yeah,
I think
that's
we
right.
spoke about that, and probably we just need to
Beef,
elaborate
dairy,
a little bit more on that one. It's probably, it is the most difficult food to eat because dairy and beef together they all become very heavy and and it's hard work for our digestive tract to actually be able to break that down if it actually can. And when food isn't broken down, it becomes what we call armour, which sits in the digestive tract, and it becomes the birthplace of disease, and all disease starts in the gut, as we've spoken about. And so avoiding some of these combinations is just really just practical knowledge, more so than, I mean, sometimes you can't avoid it, but if your body is healthy and well tuned, then it will forgive you pretty quickly. But if it's a regular sort of thing that you're doing, then it becomes accumulative and it will become much more difficult for you to manage. So things like eating melons, we eat those alone. We don't eat them with any other sort of dairy products. With yogurt, yogurt should be eaten alone. Yogurt's another
Really?
one. Yeah, yogurt is
Not even with fruit and berries,
no,
like we think.
I know,
and honey and
I
nuts.
know, I know. People are just going to be going, "Oh, what? I eat that every
Okay,
day."
That's fine.
It's
good that we know.
That's how I've been eating it.
Anything I
Yeah.
can put in, shredded coconut,
Yeah,
fruit,
it all
nuts.
sounds wonderful,
chia
doesn't
seeds.
it? But yogurt is just one of those. It's a curd, right? And it has a complexity to it, which is difficult for our bodies to have it with other things.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with having yogurt, but it's heating in nature. And so it's something that you're going to have in the daytime rather than in the nighttime as well.
Yogurt
so,
is heating.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yogurt is-
cooling.
No, because you feel it's cooling because you took it out of the fridge and have it. So it's cooling just up to your buccal
Okay.
mucosa or your buccal cavity, as we say.
Mm.
All right, but actually it's heating in nature, and it has a very peculiar quality which we call abhishyandi. It means that it stops or reduces all the secretions in your body. Starting from your digestive juices, your pancreatic juices, your synovial secretions, your cerebrospinal secretions, and any other hormonal secretions as well.
Yeah.
So by saying that, little tip and trick according to Ayurvedic principle is, if anybody is having any sort of hormonal imbalances, or they are struggling with any sort of hormonal imbalances, one should not have any yogurt. Right? And like you were saying that you should have, if you want to have yogurt, you should have it on its own. So have it as a snack. One should never eat yogurt or curd in the night, first of all, because in the night we're going to sleep, our digestion is going to be weaker or less.
Okay.
That's why we say the dinner should be quite light. Okay, this is heavy to digest. So why
Okay.
to have yogurt in the night, right? And second thing is, because it's heating, and when you combine it with other things, it actually makes your blood impure. Yeah, according to Ayurvedic principles. And once your transporter is corrupted, blood is your transporter, all right? Once your transporter is corrupted, no nourishment can get to its target cells in a good manner. That's the point.
Interesting, isn't it? It's amazing.
Why did things so wrong for so many decades
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
with the eating?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
But
not since my knowledge on
Mm.
Ayurveda.
It's just not known here, and we all have good intentions to eat well, but it's just going down deeper into the actual philosophy
Yeah.
and the science
Mm.
of what's actually going on through eating food and that, and that's essentially what we do in a consultation. We sort of go into a lot of understanding what's going on in the client, because we've got to remember everybody's unique and different, and so therefore one size doesn't fit all,
Yeah.
and like seeing clients based on that and just sorting out food is actually, it sounds complex, but once you sort of get it sorted, just making some very subtle changes in the daily diet and also some daily routine things makes all the difference, and quite quickly too. Actually, people see and improve very quickly, and so therefore that sort of creates that, well, I need to know more now, what else can I do for myself? And it becomes very natural, which is a wonderful thing. It's not prescribed, it just naturally happens, and
Yeah.
that's a really wonderful thing to see that transition happen. A few more things, like we were talking before about raw food. We're not saying that don't ever have it, but just have it in small quantities. And the other thing too is we never advise having honey heated, and we certainly don't have it in the same amounts of quantities with ghee. And there's a lot of science behind that. So if you're going to have some sourdough bread with some ghee on it, then have more of one of those, so or less, one of each way. It doesn't matter which way it goes, but it just needs to be never in equal quantities. Can you enlighten more about the science on that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like he was saying, that people who are familiar with ghee and honey, Ayurveda always say that not to have it in equal proportions. That's the point. That's the
Right.
key point. If somebody is having it in equal proportions, there are chances that your body will react to it as a poison. Poison not in the sense that it's gonna kill you straight away, but poison in the sense of toxicity or toxins that can make somebody sick. That's also a poison which makes us sick, isn't it? We say somebody has food poisoning. The food that was, thought to be a nourishing one has become poison and give you a gastro or something like that. In the same manner, these two combinations specifically, if you heat up honey, like we have seen people having honey in warm water every morning to lose some weight and all, which doesn't fit well with Ayurvedic principles. So if you want to have honey, yes, that's okay. Have it in normal water rather than to have it in hot water, or warm water.
is warm. What about lukewarm?
Warm
Not
is
even-
warm.
not
Honey,
even
honey
any
should
warmth.
never touch any
Yeah.
sort of heat before consumption. That's the rule.
Right. I only asked that because I thought that if it was just a little bit warm, I thought it sort of transported the nutrients better.
That's okay.
I don't know.
It itself is so much potent that it can
It doesn't.
transport nutrients.
Perfect.
It acts as a catalyst,
Right.
actually. Honey has a property of catalyst, right?
Mm.
So that's why one should not heat up honey before consuming it, and one should not mix ghee and honey in equal proportions before having it. You can have it, because how we make a proportion, or how we advise somebody to have what proportion, if you have more of kapha, like more of heaviness and more of phlegm in your system, then you can have more of honey, 3 parts of honey, 1 tablespoon of ghee, which will do. Or if you want more nourishing, more strengthening, or more of lubrication to your system, then have more of ghee. That's the reason behind, and that's the logic behind that.
Interesting. What's the, okay, yeah.
It's
That's
interesting, isn't it, to understand a little bit more about the science of things that we just take for granted. It's
Yeah.
good. We were talking before about khichdi as being the go-to food, and it is across all the different body types, and it is one of those sorts of meals that is can be cooked in one pot literally, and we're sort of looking at using lots of unprocessed foods that go into this particular meal, and it's a combination of using basmati rice and mung dal. And mung dal is a petite yellow lentil without a skin on it. When it does have a skin on it, it's a green skin. And what we like to do is combine those together and just wash them so that there's no sort of fungus, or it's clean, and also when we don't wash them, it can create gas and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
bloatedness in the tummy. Also, you can pop in that soaking water, which is great to do it overnight. You can put in a herb called asafoetida or hing powder, and what that does, it helps to neutralise those gaseous qualities as well.
Okay.
It's really good for that.
Yes.
And just a simple range of veggies. You don't have to put too many veggies in there. Things like some cauliflower, some sweet potatoes, some carrots, some pumpkin, that kind of thing can go into the mix. And then the sorts of spices that you might like to include in there are things like ghee, some cumin seeds, peppercorns, some bay leaves, cloves, cardamom, some grated ginger, maybe a little chili.
You can put all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not going to overdo it, that none of them clash.
No. Because in India, it's very common in the household to have what we call a masala tin, and in there, masala means a combination of herbs, or you
Yeah,
can even
that's right.
have a churna mix as well, and a churna mix is complementary to the condition of what you're trying to eat too. So you can have a cooling one, you can have a stimulating one, and you can make these things yourself. And it can be heating as well, and just depending on where you are with your health, and you can just put that in there, and it can be a very delicious thing to do. What I have a slow cooker, and I set that up the night before. I put all those ingredients in there, and put in some vegetable stock, and in the morning it's ready to go, and that's like a breakfast, lunch and dinner. And you can pop it into a thermos, you can take it to work, you can do all those sorts of things, and it's very nutritious, and you'll find that what it does is it satiates your hunger. And if
That's
you're not
right.
hungry, then it really your focus is completely different when you're not hungry, because you know what it's like. When you're hungry, your focus is not anywhere else but on your hunger.
Yeah. And it's dealing with the blood sugar levels. And
Yeah, absolutely.
those spikes that
So
cause
and
agitation.
there's many ways of making this, and there's many combinations of making this particular dish, but it's a very common dish to make for yourself, and we're happy to provide recipes. Our listeners can contact you or contact us, and we would be more than happy to share the recipe. We're actually going to do a workshop in May which is based on the 6 tastes. It's like getting the 6 tastes on your plate, literally, so you can see the various ways of actually managing that. So in May, we haven't quite set a date yet, but we will do. And because it's, I think it, like from what we're seeing through the clinic now, most definitely everything is about food related, and everything is an emotional condition. And just by changing the diet and understanding what these foods do for you, and seeing, and in fact on Tuesday night we had our women's group, and we gave each of our girls a tasting plate of the 6 tastes, so they could actually physically try each of the 6 tastes, and it was hilarious. It evoked conversation, it evoked them to put it on the tip of their tongue and think, oh my gosh, that's really, because you do it for granted, and then when you're actually taught, we don't, and then to actually sit there with others and taste the 6 tastes, you can, in fact we started the night off with a 6 taste tea, and we had all sorts of beautiful ingredients, and it was amazing.
What was in it?
There was ginger, salt, long pepper, a little bit of ghee. We had all sorts of things in there, and it was amazing.
That would satisfy. That's right.
It does.
Just a drink.
You had your 6 tastes, and you can make that in the morning. You can pop it into your drink bottle, and you can just sip that through the day. And
what is that?
It's a 6 taste. I'll send you the recipe.
Oh, you're going to send it, are you? Are we going to come to that workshop, that May workshop?
Come to the workshop, and we'll show you the big secret.
I'm trying to get it all out of you now. Because I want to go home and try it now.
It's easy to do. It tastes amazing, and look, there's lots of things to do. So all of jaggery was in there as well. Jaggery is a very basic sort of virgin form of raw sugar, and is used a lot in Indian cooking. And it's not as sweet as processed sugar, and it's very unrefined. So therefore, it's a better quality sugar, a sweetener. You can use things like coconut sugar as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it similar to that? Because that doesn't taste sweet to me.
No,
I don't get the kick.
Yeah,
just try jaggery, you'll like
it.
it.
For but be careful about the kind of jaggery you buy. Because some of them are coloured, but you want to get a jaggery that is pure and organic, so that you don't have, because when did we think spraying all of our food with chemicals was a good idea and eating it, when did we think that was a good idea? So asking those questions about, well, where did this come from, how was it sourced, who made it, and is it organic and is it unadulterated, are really good quality questions to ask, because remember, that's going into your body, and you don't need it to go there. So do the research.
Sorry, I just got a message from Beatrice. She said our 6 taste tea.
Oh, good on it.
So what is that? Can we buy it from you?
No, you can make it. It's easy to make it. So we'll give you the recipe for it. All right. So I know there was some jaggery, some ginger, some salt, some black pepper, and some lemon juice, and there was one other thing in there, and it just escapes me.
And if we were listening today, we will know, because you went through the 6 tastes. So.
Beautiful.
So that it was a wonderful experience for everybody.
Oh, that sounds so good. I'm coming to the next one. I have in my diary, third Tuesday of every month.
That's
at the same location. If you can give those details.
Yes, sure. It's at the Clayton Wesley Church on the corner of Port Rush and the Parade, and we start at 7:00. And next month we're talking about mind, body, and those emotions. And we always have a little PowerPoint that's in the background, but we sort of, we do a bit of a recap on the session beforehand, and then we get stuck into our topic. Beatrice always takes us through a meditation to get us all centered before we start, and that's always an amazing thing. Well, depending on how much time...
after you want to dance, because you've got all this great information, you're all energised, you don't want to do meditation.
Exactly. They do actually go out like totally excited and innovative, and they just want to go home, and we give them recipes from what we've discussed about that night as well, and there's always something there to try, like we have the tuna mixes this time, as well as the tasting plates, so and somebody will be making something, so So yeah, it's been a great experience, and because it's interactive as well, we find that people are just really encouraged, and we're getting some great feedback. I've tried this, I've experimented with this, and I've done this, and I'm not frightened of my pressure cooker anymore, or the slow cooker, or whatever. So
people can share notes.
Yeah,
so you get
exactly.
a few regulars coming to them.
Yes, absolutely.
A community.
Yeah, and the way we usually send out on Facebook and private messaging as well, and where there's like a little link, the try booking link that you can just sort of just do
And
that, and then through the newsletter, all sorts of ways of there's so many levels now for advertising, so we tend to do that. So, and it's been great, and feedback of course, and one-to-one, that sort of mouth-to-mouth kind of advertising works really well too. So
what else does your business do? And just let's give those details, your business name, where are you, how people can contact you, what you offer.
Well, Dr. Sharma is our master of yoga therapy, and we've got yoga classes starting again on Monday the 3rd of May, and we start at 6 o'clock, and we do foundational yoga with Dr. Sharma, and then Beatrice will do yoga flow from 7 until 8:15, and that's also at Clayton Wesley, and by joining in both classes, you get that opportunity to get your body working well, and you're not going there for exercise. You're going there to connect the mind, body, and soul. So both Beatrice and Dr. Sharma make sure that is what is happening. So Dr. Sharma, would you talk
What's the
more
main
about
difference with yours and Beatrice?
Yeah, sure.
If you can.
Yeah. See, the reason of coming up with two classes was like people have different tendencies, and everybody's needs are different. Some people are quite familiar with yoga, and some are not.
Yeah.
Some are quite flexible, and some are not. So by taking consideration into these things, we discussed and we decided we should give them one of the foundation class where we work onto your body according to your capabilities, your limits, okay? And so that we can build from there. And especially in that class, we are concentrating or focusing upon some of the therapeutic aspects as well, that what asana can give you, what sort of benefits if somebody is suffering from some physical ailment.
What's asana? Is that a pose?
Yeah, that's the physical postures, as we say, the poses. So, and the way of breathing. So two things are very important in any form of yoga, which is awareness and pattern of breathing. So mostly I always ask our clients that, have you ever noticed how you are breathing? We seldom notice. So to bring you back to the connection which makes you a living being, which is breathing, is to be aware how you are breathing.
Yeah.
And to be aware how you are moving your body. And
any time, or just in yoga?
Anytime, like we are sitting here now.
Like that.
I'm trying to sit with my back erect, not like this, I'm not sitting on my couch, which is not a good thing to sit anyway. On my couch also I sit with my back straight, otherwise you will have a back pain.
Yeah.
All right? So
we have to be aware of all that, don't we? Especially as we get older.
Yeah.
Is that more
And
true as we get older? I feel changes as I'm getting older.
age is just a number.
I like
That's it. And if you are fit, you are healthy, you are good. And aging is not a bad thing. You just have to age gracefully.
Perfect.
Yep. And in our second class, we go with the flow so that you can have different tastes of, different postures, different flows, different transitions, which will give you more benefit. So you can learn the foundations and fundamentals and get some therapeutic aspects of the value of the yoga asanas, yoga breathing, yoga meditation, and we always explain the science behind that and what the scriptures say. So, and in the second class, we take them through the journey of those fundamental things and enjoy the journey with the flow of the yoga, which will make you feel even more better.
That's right. Yeah, we need to understand what we're doing and not just do it. We, like anything,
Yeah.
knowledge is power, and
Everybody-
it would be a richer experience doing it, knowing all this, like you said,
Yes,
books,
yes.
scriptures.
We can't do anything with absent mind on our job, isn't it? That's our duty. And taking care of our health is also our duty. But mostly we are doing it absent-mindedly.
Yeah.
So when we say mindful, it's with one L, not with double L. Mostly people are having mindful. All right? So better be mindful with one L, not with double L.
Here. All right.
So everybody's welcome to join.
Yeah.
We'd love to see people there.
How can we go on the Facebook page for all of this?
That would be good.
That would-
And also we've got
Yeah.
some numbers that we can give out as well for yoga. Certainly can contact Beatrice, and her mobile phone number is 0405 799 210, and Dr. Sharma's mobile phone number is 0469 301 860, and my mobile phone number is 0410 371 402. So we're able to help you with any inquiry, and if you'd like to come by for a consultation, we'd
Yeah.
love to see you in the clinic. And also we'll love to keep everybody posted when we're going to do our 6 taste
Yeah.
on a plate workshop as well. We'll
Excellent.
sort of look at making how to make ghee and a few fundamental things as well, show you how to put together a masala kit, because also stocking up your pantry is also an important aspect of Ayurvedic cooking as well. So
You don't want to run out of that
no,
special herb
yeah,
just when you're going
yeah.
to make your meal.
yeah,
It's good to be organised anyway, isn't
It
it?
is,
Yeah,
isn't
always,
it? It's
always.
always important. So look, lots of things going on, and it would be great to see everybody. Our community
Excellent.
needs to have this happening now. It's time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I
Thank
just
you.
want to thank our listeners
Yeah.
for giving us opportunity to interact with them, and especially you, so that
Thank you.
we
You're
can
welcome.
interact with our listeners. And it was lovely, lovely, lovely.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much.
Namaste.
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 Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Any more notes there from Beatrice?
What did you say?
Cheers. Perfect. So if we're going to say goodbye here, before I turn it off.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah. Anything
Thank
else
you,
want to
everybody.
share before I-
and take care, and be healthy, be happy. Thank you very much from the eWay team.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to be a part of this tonight. So we hope that we can see you soon, and look after yourselves. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. See you soon.
Perfect.
Bye.